Hello and welcome to the show. Now, I am rather a fan of the Lamborghini Diablo in general, the rather crazy Lamborghinis. So naturally this seems like a good place to start when it comes to a silly car build, seeing as it is, well, rather silly to begin with. So we're going to see what we can do with this car, and we're not going to be putting the engine in it for once, as we can't do any engine swaps to this. I'm hoping that the standard engine is going to get some pretty decent power out of it. I can't say I've ever driven the Diablo in Forza 6, so this is kind of all built one or driven one. This is all kind of new to me. We have the options of single turbo, twin turbos, or both of the superchargers. So we have all of the options, in fact, for the Diablo. I think we're going to go with the twin turbos on this one. We're already at 593 horsepower to start with, so we're not at quite the most spectacular of power outputs. I would like to think that we can probably get ourselves up to 900, maybe even 1,000 with this car. I don't quite know. We will, though, get some nice racing tyres on the vehicle. We're probably going to have some decent... two 4.5s on the front. They are piddly front tyres. I was expecting a little bit more from the Lamborghini quite there, because we're going to have 3 4.5s on there. They are tiny front tyres on this one, but well, that is what we are going to have with the Lamborghini. Traction shouldn't be a problem, at least, which is kind of helpful, and considering what we're doing, that is often where we lose a fair bit of time. Turning maybe, but we will have to wait and see, really. With this car, we will save as much weight as we can going through here and put in a new diff while we are at it. Just judging by the PI at the moment, we are likely to be relatively high up in terms of PI, considering we haven't put any power, apart from the turbos. We haven't really sort of maxed out the power parts yet. We've still got race weight reduction to come, and we are halfway through S-Class, so this could potentially be going for a pretty fast vehicle. Now, if we can, hoping the weight reduction will save us a fair amount, if we can get it down to sort of the mid-2000s, sort of 2,500, 2,600, that would be helpful, but I don't think we're going to save that much weight. We are going to put a fair bit more in with the roll cage, and then take out what we can. It's not even going to be into the 2,000s. Disappointing. 3,004 pounds at the moment. Yeah, I guess it's kind of already got one stage of weight reduction already, so it's not going to be the mega savings on this one. Little bit of a shame. On the plus side, at least we will not have problems with the bumps in this car. I very highly doubt we will have any issues going across them. I was actually expecting the PI to jump up some more with the weight saving, so perhaps we're not going to have massively high PI on this vehicle. At the rate we're going, we're not going to have massively high power outputs either. 707 horsepower we have got to now. Turbos, I'm hoping you add a fair bit. Otherwise, we're going to be a little bit lackluster in the power department, and that'll be slightly disappointing from the Diablo. I was expecting crazy. Ooh, wow, that might be the biggest amount of power increase I've seen from the displacement upgrades. That's massive from displacement. Okay. 805 horsepower we are up to now. Turbos, please give me some decent power figure. The displacement did almost as much as the turbos. Yeah, that is quite unusual. 878 horsepower. Intercooler, it's up to you now. Give me big power figure. They're bigger. 930 horsepower. That's peculiar. Like, the turbos and camshafts did bugger all, and like the intercooler and displacement did all of it. I say did bugger all. I mean, it's still 73 from there. The camshaft, though, only did... I guess the camshaft did 76. I was expecting a little bit more, considering, but that's what we're going to have to work with. 900... I say I was expecting more. 930 horsepower in a Lamborghini Diablo is still a lot of power. 740 torque as well in a car that weighs 3,000 pounds. Let's go and see what it does when we give it a wet racetrack. Of course, the track in question is the Virginia International Raceway, where the Diablo will get 5 laps around the Patriot alternate layout in an attempt to go as fast as possible. Now, the current leaders of the table, the Toyota NASCAR and Bugatti Veyron, are unlikely to be challenged by this Diablo. Equally, the Hot Wheels Mustang, I think, will have had too much downforce. The Bentley, being four-wheel drive, is probably going to be a bit too taller an ask for the Diablo, but perhaps we'll be looking around the McLaren 570S, or 108.8. I think high 108s, low 109s are potentially where we're going to see the Diablo fall in the table, provided there are not any terrible handling quirks. That launch is impressive. I can be an absolute moron with the throttle, and the car will just go. I may have been a little too brave. I got carried away. I was excited by the launch, and then we got a little carried away under braking. Okay, can't quite get away with that much. Oh dear! Now we've got slidey Lamborghini, very slidey Lamborghini. Okay, well it wouldn't be a Diablo if it wasn't trying to kill me at some point during a lap. So we have got to be aware of that. The front end actually isn't getting turned in too badly for these corners. How brave can we be on the run up this hill? Relatively brave, actually. We can carry relatively good speed. It is here that these turns catch cars out. It's you want to be on full throttle ideally, but this car does not have the traction to get away with that. I thought it might after such an impressive launch, but it cannot quite do it. And then we're going to slide big time through that final corner. Once we went into third gear and we're going in a straight line, we're okay. But if we're slightly turning, that's when we get into all the sorts of trouble. All right, so we want to brake probably about here. I was busy looking at my braking point, didn't see just how fast we were going in a straight line. That's spot on, actually. With the Lamborghini, that is useful to know as we now feed it through these first very slow corners. This is a nasty track. It is not an easy track. That's part of the reason why I picked it. A lot of very tight corners early on, and then we go through this faster section here, slightly faster section, still relatively low speed stuff, through these S's. I'm trying to get on the power too soon. We're going to lose the back end big time through there. Somehow I actually recovered all that. I thought we were going off. I thought we were going to visit a time bundle or spin. Amazingly, I got that lot all back together again. We'll have lost some time from taking all manners of terrible lines through there, but never mind. Oh, puddle is bad when you're already heading towards it, slightly crossed up. This has been a very Lamborghini lap, I think, is probably the way to sum it up. It has tried to murder me at multiple, or I say Lamborghini, the old Lamborghini when they were rear-wheel drive and silly, and it's still got into the 108s. That's an impressive lap time for having everything pretty much wrong. Oh, that was close again. I really thought we were going straight into the turn one wall. Amazingly got it pulled up in time. If I can get the rest of this lap right, it's going to be one hell of a lap, because that was absolutely on the money into that first corner there. I could not have pushed it any harder, I don't think, without having had an accident. Now, be neat and tidy on the way through these S's, and then make sure we get it slowed down, get it turned in. Now, don't get carried away on the throttle. This is where we get wheel spin in the Diablo. Gradually feed that power in. Even when we go to fourth gear, we're still having some sliding. Slow the car down here. We do struggle with a bit of understeer through that higher speed corner. Be aware of the puddle as well. Get it slowed for this second to last corner and then turned in for the final part. I'm liking this lap. This lap has felt very good as we leave that last turn. Get as good a run off the corner as we can. Oh, it's a 107.6. That is quicker than I was expecting. That is a mega lap time from the Diablo right there. I didn't think this was going to threaten the top runners. That has scared the pants off a Bugatti Veyron somewhere. That is a mega lap time from the Diablo. When everything goes right, I'm not going to be able to do it again, I don't think. When everything goes right, that is really impressive from this car. I don't know where I'm going to find any more time from that one. We're just going to have to be braver, I think, with the car. But when you start trying to get braver, like through that section, it's just going to end up being scruffier, I think. We've lost heaps of time trying to throw it through there with more speed. That was not going to happen. If we could carry as much speed through that corner as we can elsewhere, and as perhaps similar performance cars can, if we could get the front end turned in that bit better, this would probably seriously challenge the very fastest cars. Because we lose, admittedly, the likes of the Veyron, that doesn't take that much speed through there either, but the Veyron makes up its lap speed elsewhere. Whereas this is trying to make up all of its lap speed in the corners, and I just can't carry the speed through that particular turn. Through here it does remarkably well as we are on to our final lap. Am I going to be able to find any more time? I'm half a second down in that first sector again. I just can't carry the same level of speed once more through that section. Try and make up time through here, but I don't think it's going to work. We're going to that braked ourselves a little bit. We have run wide. Can we get on that power anymore? Well, we haven't lost so much time this lap around. What are we going to be able to do through here? You see, I'm actually braking quite early to try and get the front end turned in, but I just can't carry the speed there as we jump on the brakes once more into this kind of double apexed final corner. We're out a little too wide. We're going to be on the curb. We can put the power down, okay, surprisingly, despite it feeling horrible and bouncing around. We do put the power down. We actually did find some time in that final sector, but we lost it on the first one. That was a mega lap. We've done 2 laps in the 107s, though. That's good going. That is bloody good going. A 107.6 from the Diablo with it was an absolutely mega first sector is pretty much what did it on that lap. I wasn't expecting that. I wasn't expecting that level of performance, considering we are 0.4 of a second down on the Bugatti Veyron. The Bugatti Veyron is in P class. This is a mid-R class car. In fact, it's not even mid-R class. This is a relatively low PI car for this series, and yet it is into 3rd place on the table. It beats the Hot Wheels Mustang. The Hot Wheels Mustang, with its incredible levels of downforce, was a very, very good car to drive, but the Diablo is faster. It beats the 4-wheel drive Bentley. It beats the bonkersly fast accelerating Alfa Romeo 33. This car does not have the acceleration of some of the other vehicles. It's not bad. 180 down towards turn 1 is pretty good going, but that is a hell of a lap time. That is an incredible lap time from the Diablo. I said at the start I didn't think it would frighten the top runners. It did. That is a mega, mega quick car. Now, though, it is time to find out just how quickly it'll go in a straight line. And of course, to test that out, we have come to the Le Mans circuit. Now, the Lamborghini, I don't think, has the power. It simply doesn't have the power to compete with the very top of the speed runs. They've all been running 1,200 horsepower plus. Admittedly, the Diablo is a pretty good shape aerodynamically for cutting through the air. I think we're still going to see good speed out of this car, but 270 miles an hour is probably asking a bit too much of it. If we can get 240, I think we would be doing pretty well here. In fact, we can get 250 even. I would be happy with that one. 248, I think. Yeah, we're probably going to be pushing our luck to get 250. In fact, having a quick look at the table, the only cars that have cracked 250 have been, with the exception of the Lotus 11, which is a little bit of an oddball, but yeah, the Lotus 11 is just stupid, basically. Everything else has had well over 1,000 horsepower. So, yeah, never quite likely for the Diablo, with the exception of the 11. Everything has had 1,200 plus, I think. So, yeah, a bit of a tall order getting into the 250 mile an hours for the Diablo. It's likely to get close, and I feel very comfortable with taking this car down the Le Mans straight. Some vehicles, you're terrified are going to do something stupid when heading down there. This has been very, very composed throughout the entire thing. Yes, you can get it sliding around in the wet with relative ease if you are a moron. With the throttle, you can get it sliding around in the dry, I have no doubt as well. When you have 900 horsepower, that's not too much of an issue, but on the whole, for a Diablo, it has been very composed indeed as we now launch it on to the main straight here. We are up to 180 miles an hour before we reach this little corner. That's not bad going. It's, again, you're not up there with the fastest, but that is not too bad at all. It's getting up to 220 nice and quickly. It's when we get to the point where we struggle to keep accelerating. That is where we are going to hopefully have got to before we get to the end of the straight. We are now starting to struggle past 240. I was hoping we would not quite have hit it And just yet we are going to struggle to keep going. We're at 243, 244. Now we should have no problems coming towards this corner. I wouldn't think in the Diablo. It's a little bit of a jump. We lose 1 mile an hour, 2 miles an hour through the turn. I don't think we're going to do more than 244 though. I don't think we can get any more out of it this other side. We might get back up to 244, which we do, before jumping on the brakes. Yeah, it just runs out of puff too quickly. I was hoping we'd get a little closer to that 248 before we did. 244 though is still not too bad a speed from the car. Nevertheless, it is yeah, a remarkable vehicle, this Diablo. It really isn't the complete and utter death machine that you slightly expect from overpowered rear-wheel drive Lamborghinis. Very controlled around the circuit, no problems with a speed run, even with a big airborne moment. I mean, that got some serious height off of that jump, and it was landed and made the corner and lost 2 miles an hour and all of that. That's not many cars can do that. Not many cars can do that whatsoever. Anyway, it's straight line speed. That 244 miles an hour will put it into joint 14th place. It is the same speed as set by the Pontiac Firebird Trans Am and the Bentley Continental GT. Exactly the same speed as the Continental GT. It does beat the Dodge Daytona and the Ford GT40, however loses out to the Maserati Birdcage, the Aston Martin Vanquish. So yeah, a very, very solid vehicle, this Diablo. Not quite what I was expecting from it. Never thought it would go quite that quick around a circuit, but a remarkably composed and controlled and civilized Lamborghini. However, that is going to be it for this video, guys. Thank you very much for watching, and until next time, goodbye.